Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Smackdown Live review. Yep, our first Smackdown Live review back in the saddle. We did Raw TWitWoW last night, SmackDown Live TWitWoW tonight, and I gotta say, a fun episode for SmackDown Live. What you really notice about SmackDown Live, having one less hour than Raw, they really know how to push their stories. They really know how to continue to build upon them. I found that to be especially true of the undercard on tonight's show because there are some things I'll be looking forward to talking about. But yeah, I mean, this is a great go-home show for them before Elimination Chamber this Sunday. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Partner, what'd you think of it?
Dude, I love SmackDown. They've gotten so good. They're so good at not only utilizing their talent, but making sure that everybody has something to do. I love that there are literally 6 women on SmackDown, and all 6 of them are involved with a feud. I love that we have a bunch of tag teams vying for the tag titles, and a team other than the champions won tonight, pinning a team other than the champions. A lot of the time, if a team other than the champions is going to win, it's going to be the champions taking the pinfall, and that's going to be to set up a championship match down the line. But no, tonight the champions were not even involved in the finish of the 12-man tag match. I appreciate that. And the main event was great, and we opened with a great match. Really, just SmackDown Live is clicking, my friend. It is firing on all cylinders. There was one single individual segment tonight that wasn't high quality, and it was still hilarious because of how bad the quality of it was. So I'm happy.
I mean, just to put in perspective how progressive in my mind SmackDown is without jerking itself off about it, 3 women's matches on this pay-per-view this Sunday. This is almost like a Halloween Havoc 97 when they had so many cruiserweight matches, except instead of cruiserweights, it's women. Because you've got Lynch versus James, you've got Naomi versus Bliss for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and you've got Nikki Bella versus Natalya. That's 3 women's matches, 3 women's programs. Unbelievable. And yeah, all of them feel like they have a certain weight to them. So, I mean, I completely agree with you. With that said, are there any other preliminary remarks you want to make about SmackDown before we really get into this thing?
Let's get into it, my friend.
All right, let's start with our first segment, Heat of the Night. And I got to be honest, no Heats of the Night tonight for me. I had so much fun with this show. This is great. Partner, what about you?
Same here. No heats, no nitpicks, no nothing. This was a great go-home show. This made me so excited for Chamber on Sunday, and even more excited for preview predictions on Friday.
Yeah, that's right, bud. Guys, again, this week is still packed, but here we are with SmackDown Live TWitWoW, so let us get right into our SmackDown Live review. Now, first we open up with a video package documenting, I should say, the Cena-Orton rivalry, because that's our main event tonight, John Cena versus Randy Orton. But when we actually get to SmackDown Live content, we open up with Daniel Bryan addressing the crowd because he's in his hometown tonight. Last year he announced his retirement, and now he's back, kind of a full circle thing. What did you think of this segment, Ashton?
I mean, yeah, it was opening the show was a brilliant move. That's like, going to Chicago and having CM Punk open the show. It just makes sense. I appreciate that he brought the I'm grateful thing full circle because of the fact that he's the SmackDown GM now, and he's going to be a father. And I love too that as he said, I'm going to be a dad, the next word that you heard was awesome.
Yeah. And that's the thing, guys. Like, it starts with Bryan, and again, Ashton, I think you're absolutely 100% right. Talk about a guy that just his mere presence is going to amp the crowd up and set the tone for the show. So brilliant move there by SmackDown. But then you continue with that momentum by having Miz interrupt. And I think that's so smart because as we know from Talking Smack, which I'll be interested to watch tonight, when it goes up, these guys have an amazing rapport with each other. If, given the freedom to just talk and be themselves. And that's no different here. Miz's heel work, I mean, he has really clawed to get back to that kind of upper mid card, kind of flirting with the main event level. And he's just throwing in Daniel Bryan's face that he can't wrestle anymore. He even asks point blank, "Why are you here?" And the crowd just heckles the shit out of Miz for it.
And dude, I love too that when Miz said, "You can't wrestle, why are you in my ring?" Bryan retorted with, "Well, you can't wrestle either, and that's never stopped you from getting into the ring."
Exactly. Like I said, that rapport that those two have plays out in segments like this, and it's freaking gold. So they do great stuff. But then Corbin comes out, and he pretty
Yes.
much tells Miz, "You talk too much. You talk too much on commentary last week, and you're talking too much right now." And then Miz says, like you say, I talk too much, but when I talk, people listen, and you need to listen to me because we could team up in the Elimination Chamber. We could make things so easy for us. My brain, your might. I actually said my mind, your might. And we could team up, take everybody out. Then we leave it to the best man left, whoever wins between us. And then Corbin says, well, or I could take you out right now, so I don't have to hear your mouth when I'm WWE champion. And then I believe Dean Ambrose came out next. And he pretty much said that we're all going to do things in the chamber. We're all going to do very bad things. And he's going to emerge from the chamber as both WWE champion and Intercontinental champion. So Dean Ambrose looking to pull that warrior. I think that's pretty cool. But then AJ Styles comes out. And I love what AJ says about it all because he says, is everybody just gone from reality? Dean, he's going to be behind bars, so maybe that's not much of a stretch. Miz thinks he's going to be champion again. That's ridiculous. Corbin thinks he's a threat. And Styles says, look, all I care about is getting my championship back. And the crowd was hot for Styles. He actually had to tell him to shut up to no avail, I might add. So he tried getting that heat, but he was struggling because he's just so damn good. How can you not love AJ Styles? So then everybody's kind of, raising their voices and everything. Bryan brings us all back down to earth. And he announces a fatal four-way, and I know you and I love this, dude. What do you think about this?
Well, before we get to the fatal four-way, I just want to say, I love that Raw is desperately trying to get the fans to cheer for a guy, and he gets booed. Meanwhile, SmackDown has the opposite problem, where they're desperately trying to get the crowd to boo a guy, and he gets cheered.
Yeah. Funny how that works, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it's amazing what decent writing can do. But anyway, as far as this match goes, honestly, this is probably my favorite match of the night, and it was the first match of the night, so that's not super common. We had Miz, Corbin, Ambrose, and Styles fatal four-way. Lots of fun. I feel like Ambrose got to really shine in this match when he kind of took on all three guys in succession. But at the end of the day, he does, I believe, hit a dirty deeds on Miz, but then Maurice saves Miz by pulling him out. And then I think, did Ambrose go after, or was it AJ that hit the move on Miz before Maurice pulled him out?
It was AJ with the phenomenal forearm.
And then, yeah, he hit the phenomenal forearm on the Miz, and then Maurice pulled the Miz out, and then AJ Styles turns around into an end of days, only to get pinned by Baron Corbin. I love this.
Yeah, bro, give us your whole thoughts on this, because I know I have stuff I want to say, but I wanted you to go first. What do you think about this?
No, dude, it's just freaking awesome that we have, like, you were literally saying during this match, I want Baron Corbin to pin Dean Ambrose because I'm sick of him, kind of like dwindling on the mid card. He needs to be going after bigger game. And then who does he pin? AJ freaking Styles. Not even the current Intercontinental Champion, but a former and really recently former champion. Like, this is huge. This is the sign that we were kind of looking for, that like, okay, they're committed to Corbin. He's a big deal now. They're going to start treating him like a big deal. And I love that. And I mean, I already feel like I gave all my thoughts on the match. So if you want to take over here, go for it.
You articulated my sentiments perfectly, so I'm just going to sum it up in a sentence or two. This, again, is another big difference from Raw and SmackDown. Raw, they say, look, our top game, we've got to overprotect them in Roman Reigns. SmackDown says, no, there's no protection. That's why they're the top game to begin with. They can take the hit. And they have Corbin win, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, at AJ Styles' expense, who just came off of, to your point, a WWE Championship run. They let Corbin have this win, and they let him have it in the biggest way. Now imagine if they let Joe do the same on Raw.
Huh.
This is what I'm talking about when we talk about building talent. And Baron Corbin, whether you like him or not, and as you could tell, TwitWoW is very pro Baron Corbin. The guy is on the rise. Seeing him do this, I know AJ isn't going to go face in time for Mania, but now it makes me want Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. That's what a win like this does. I'm so happy he got this, and I completely agree with you. This match was so much fun. I mean, talk about I said Brian really set the tone for the show, but if we're talking about match quality, this is the perfect match to open with. So good job on SmackDown Live's part.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. Um, we have a lot to talk about as far as the potential SmackDown side of the WrestleMania card later on, but we'll get to that later. For now, I'm just ecstatic that Corbin got a big win over an established main eventer, and I'm almost even more ecstatic that I can honestly say that AJ Styles is an established main eventer in WWE. Like that just feels so good to say.
Absolutely, partner. I completely agree. So let's move on. We got
Harper.
A Luke Harper promo. What did you think about this, man? Because I also know we're very pro Luke Harper here. What'd you think?
I know, yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, man, SmackDown do talent management infinitely better than Raw. SmackDown feels so much more like a meritocracy than Raw. Harper, I actually, using my 105 word per minute typing abilities, I actually transcribed Luke Harper's promo as he was delivering it. So I can tell you guys exactly what he said. Here we go. They say man is most dangerous when he has nothing left to lose. But what about a man who never had anything to begin with? Stole my family. You are a liar, and I've seen the snake in the grass for far, far too long. And I know how to fix it. But cutting in half the viper, just too easy. No, I want to hurt you. I want you to feel pain. And Randy Orton at Elimination Chamber, you will be eliminated.
Love it.
I
Love
love it
it.
so much. Yes. I'm so happy. Not only that Harper is face and that he's getting mic time, but that he's getting a one-on-one match with Orton at Chamber. That excites me so much.
Guys, I'm telling you this right now, and I'm telling you this with the straightest face. This is the match I'm looking forward to most at Chamber, and I'll tell you why.
You're looking more forward to this than the Chamber match itself? I mean,
Yes,
I'm looking forward to it, but not
yes.
not more than the Chamber.
Yes, because you know what? I have no delusions that Harper's going to win, but I think Harper's going to work the match of his damn life. I think he's got a fire
Dude,
under his
why would
ass.
why would Harper not win if Randy Orton's already guaranteed a world title match at Mania?
That is true, but then again, I see. Yeah, we'll have to talk about it more at Chamber Preview Predictions. This is not
I
the
was going
time
to
to
say
have the
because
discussion.
Orton already beat Harper.
On that one episode of SmackDown Live. Again, I don't want to go any further into it until Preview Predictions because that's the stuff you got to wait for, folks. But all the same, I love this promo, and I love that they're giving Harper this. Again, I told you the story that I read when he was out hurt, and the draft was looming, and they're like, oh, here are the top prospects for the draft. And they had like names like Khali and Crime Time, and Harper said in that interview, like, it burned me up that I was not on there. Like, how could I not be on there? And the great Khali was on there. So he came back with a chip on his shoulder. And to know that this is how far he's come, that he's getting a singles match on a pay-per-view with Randy Orton, and he deserves it too. The guy's put the time in. His work is top notch. He's got an amazing look. If he wins, I guarantee you that'll be the mark out of our live reactions because I will come out of my damn seat. And I love this promo. So that's all I'm going to leave it at. This was great stuff.
Yeah, this was a great promo. Really a great promo cut by a great performer, and that's what excites me most is just finally Luke Harper's getting a little bit of shine. It's just awesome. But after this, we had the worst slash funniest segment of the night. Tom Phillips interviewing Nikki Bella and Natalia, and just to be clear, they had to be separated because of how personal this rivalry has gotten.
Bro, my review of this segment is going to just be simply my notes, and it's only 2 lines. You ready? I said,
Sure.
God, that was bad. Much like Charlotte, never give these two women extended talking segments because they will always nosedive. So much cringe. That's my review. What'd you think about this?
Okay. Well, you know what? Since you read your notes, I didn't really write notes as far as what my opinion is on here. I just kind of took cliff notes on what was said. Nikki just kind of made it blatantly obvious that she has no intentions of ever forgiving Natalia for what she said and done. And Natalia, I actually really appreciated this comeback in a non sarcastic way, in a non ironic way. Natalia says, "Oh, Nikki has a lot of people that work really hard to make her look as good as possible, but no amount of makeup is going to be able to cover up what I do to you at Elimination Chamber." That was a great line.
That was probably the only noteworthy line here as far as actually doing its job of making me somewhat care about this feud. And I use the term care very loosely. Very loosely. You know
I'm
what,
just
though?
having so much fun with how much of a curmudgeon you're being about this because I laughed throughout this whole segment and you're just, ew, this is bad.
I will because I do, we've been gone for a long time and I would like to try, and I want to emphasize try because especially Raw makes it very hard to find a silver lining in all things. And if there's a silver lining in this, it's actually what we said at the top of the show. They're using all of their resources. No woman got shelved on this pay-per-view, and I do like that because that shows initiative. They didn't forget about a single person in their division on this card. And you know something else, at least in my opinion, maybe it's just my perception, and I mean this in a good way. This does feel like the least important match on this card, and it should.
You know what, though? I think the downside is I'm guessing Becky versus Mickey James is going to get benched on the pre-show rather than this match.
And that's such a shame because I feel like Becky, and I'm not saying you're wrong, and that's why I said I think it's a shame because I think you're right, because I feel like that feud has more teeth than this, and
Yeah.
organically too, and
Well,
I feel like,
you know what, though? I mean, when you say it has more teeth, I can't even agree with that because even though this feud is really cringy just because it's two completely worthless mic workers, the writing has been solid. And if you're somebody who kind of enjoys that like shock value TV, like the Jerry Springer and Mari kind of stuff, this is easily the best built women's match so far.
that's a fair point. I'm not going to continue on that. I just, there have been
Just because,
moments in
like,
this
if you
feud, like,
really think about it, like the Becky Mickey match, it's a returning veteran who feels bitter about a young star trying to replace her and make people forget about her.
right.
The Alexa versus Naomi, there's nothing personal about that. It's just about the title, which
Yes.
obviously the title is important, but again, nothing personal. Like there's not even like an underlying Total Diva storyline they could throw in there because Alexa's never been on that show. This match, on the other hand, like they've actually been building to this match since Survivor Series. That's how much build they've put into this. Like
That's a fair point. Yeah.
yeah, like Natalia attacked Nikki at Survivor Series, and then Nikki had another month of blaming Carmella for the attack. Carmella came out and said, "Oh no, it wasn't me, it was Natalia." Natalia denied it at first. Then not only did she own up to it, but in that same breath that she owned up to doing the attack, she said that she's never liked Nikki, that Nikki is overrated, that Nikki can't wrestle, and that Nikki's only where she is because of who she's banging. Like this is hands down the most personal feud probably on the main roster right now. How sad is that?
Yeah, honestly, when you put it that way, I mean, your argument has a lot of merit. I don't know. There has been stuff about this that I've liked, and I know that's hard to believe. Again, to use your terms, I've been such a curmudgeon about this whole thing. Like I've
You know
liked the
what?
physical.
Speaking of the Nikki Carmella feud, that's the one female who is on the SmackDown roster who isn't currently in a program with another female is Carmella.
Yeah, because she's doing stuff with James Ellsworth, and she might actually. I don't know what she's getting built for. I mean, I have some ideas, I guess, but we'll talk about her at another time. But yeah, I mean, to get back to what we're talking about, there have been things I've liked in this feud. Like, I've liked the physicality of it. Like, oh, Natalia just keeps jumping Nikki, and Nikki just isn't standing for that. I just feel like when it comes to them talking and see the way you presented it, right? Like it's so good because like they've been doing this since Survivor Series. They do have that relationship, and it's like, oh, Nikki went here, and yet I have the pedigree, I have the in-ring ability, and I've always been here. And on paper, that is so good. It's just a shame that a story of such depth, and I can't believe I'm using that word here, but I mean, again, the case you presented makes that true, is handed to such two poor mic workers. I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
Dude, the
yeah,
funniest, literally the line that made me laugh the hardest in this Nikki with a straight face with no intended sarcasm or irony, looked dead into the camera, which kind of in like a hypothetical sense, and said, "The only thing that you've ever been good at is wrestling." That's the whole point. That's what your job is, woman.
Honestly, the line that made me laugh the most, because I'm like, oh my god, stop the pain, was when Natalia was like, oh, John's gonna move on. And honestly, if I wasn't married, he'd be with me. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. At that point, I only had a few hours shy of being 25, and I wanted to end my life right there. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. I'm out. That's just really bad. But yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, but that's just it was bad. It was bad. Don't get me wrong, it was bad, but it was the room bad. It was hilarious bad.
Yeah. You know what though? I applaud you for taking your approach. And again, like, and I say this with all the seriousness in the world, you do make great points with the way you're coming down on this segment, the way you're looking at it. It's
and the
just
crazy thing is, dude, like, even though the delivery is just bottom of the barrel, there was a lot of truth that came out in this feud. I mean, I feel like most of what Natalia says about Nikki getting to where she is because of John Cena, I believe that 100%. Because really, everyone's a hard worker. Nikki didn't work any harder than every other woman who stays in WWE, who doesn't leave, who continues to work that schedule. Nikki isn't working any harder than anyone else. The difference is, you know, she's in a favorable relationship. That's really all it is. And like, if you would switch boyfriends, if Nikki would be with frickin' TJ and Natalia would be with Cena, Natalia would have been the one having the longest reigning women's championship, being pushed to the moon, getting all the talk show spots, having the TV show, not Nikki Bella.
right.
That's
Yeah.
really like, it's sad because it's a misogynist truth in this case, but at the end of the day, it is the truth. It's, you know, Nikki Bella is not a better wrestler than 85% of the women on the roster. She's not a better talker than 90% of the women on the roster. She's not a better actress than 95% of the women on the roster. She is in the bottom like 25% at everything that is involved in this business, except, well, by the way, she's in bed with the top guy.
Right. And you know, I really can't put up an argument against that, because I agree with you. You know, that's really what it comes down to. I was just glad to see this end. As far as who's going to
Well,
go,
and it goes the other way too, because Nikki accused Natty of coasting, and I have accused Natty of doing that without saying the word coasting for years
right.
now, because Natty is kind of another case like Charlotte, where she came in and she had this certain level of talent. Now, granted, Natalia's in-ring talent was pretty high above Charlotte's at first, but I feel like neither one of them has really grown as a performer in any way whatsoever since they debuted.
No, not at all. Like, I remember Natalia's debut and following her through to present day. She has had no growth whatsoever, and no, farting gimmicks do not count as growth.
And if anything, in the ring, she's regressed, because I feel like she was better in her initial run when she had like the brunette hair and when she won the Divas Championship than she is now.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. Like, I just feel like, if anything, it's been stagnation, not progression. And again, to your point, perhaps even regression. I was just happy to see this end. And do you have anything else you want to say about this segment?
And I'm sure our audience is going to be happy to hear us end talking about this segment. So let's move on. Up next, we had our second match of the night: Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler. Pretty quick match. Crews ended up winning with a roll up, but then Dolph super kicked him, and we got a chair attack.
Yeah, chair attack. Kalisto tried coming out and making the save. He got it like a few kicks in, but ultimately he was unsuccessful. He tried going for the Salida del Sol, and Dolph straddled him on the rope, and then he hit him in the back with the chair. The tactic's starting to seem a bit counterproductive, because much like AJ Styles, like, this is something that a heel Dolph is getting over with the crowd, because I guess we got some believers that just to try and get through the hurdle until May have a bloodlust that need to be satiated, and they're chanting one more time with the chair shots, and Dolph obliges, because it's kind of a conflict for Dolph. Like, what do? Do you get heat by putting the chair down and thus ending the suffering of two people but not appealing to the crowd, or do you continue the suffering of the people you have a beef with but also indulge the crowd? It seems like a lose-lose situation to me. So Dolph does hit Cruz. And yeah, I mean, I like the chair beatdown, but it's starting to seem a bit counterproductive. Very quick match, so I've got nothing to say about that. Just to kind of tie this in, Brian met Dolph backstage and said, Dolph, what was that? Like, are you just going to throw a fit every time you lose and do a chair attack? And Dolph's like, hey, man, I could beat these guys anytime I want, but beating them down with the steel chair, it's just a bit more fun. And Brian says, well, you know what? You're going to have a 2-on-1 handicap match against Cruz and Kalisto at Chamber. And again, this is another story in the undercard that actually has had build, because Dolph's whole turn came after Kalisto tried saving him. Dolph took him out, and then in that same night, Cruz confronted Ziggler in the locker room and said, hey, what is that? Kalisto's my friend. This is my business. So Dolph has had beef with both of these guys for some time now. And yeah,
Yep.
I've got some thoughts I definitely can't wait to share about this match when we get to Friday for preview and predictions. So good stuff all around. Is there anything you want to add?
The first ever SmackDown Live, well, not ever, the first SmackDown Live TWitWoW back from the break. And it's basically a Elimination Chamber preview and predictions pre-show.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, of this match makes all the sense in the world. That's something I absolutely love about SmackDown, is that they actually put effort into making their stories make sense. I appreciate that. I don't feel like Raw consistently does that. And yeah, Cruz and Kalisto versus Dolph. I almost feel like I want Dolph to win that, just because that would really kind of establish him, like, yeah, turning heel was the right decision. Whereas if he loses, he kind of just looks like the same character he was a few months ago when he was a babyface and talking a big game and then losing.
Oh, well, I've definitely got thoughts about this match, and again, I'm eager to share them on Friday. But I do agree with you. I think it would be better if Dolph got the win for the reasons you stated. That
Yeah.
said, is there anything else you want to say about this?
I believe up next was the dual contract signing, right?
Yes, it was. What did you think about this?
This was really it was good, but it was kind of weird at the same time. Um, Mickey James comes out first, then Alexa, then Becky, then Naomi. First thing that really happens is Mickey James tells Renee Young she's not a real journalist, she's just a cosplayer acting like a journalist, and that Mickey could handle it from here. And poor Renee just had this look like, oh well, fuck me, right? And she just left.
Yeah.
And Mickey proceeds to kind of continue on the shtick she's been about how she's, 6-time women's champ, and excuse me, she and Alexa Bliss are the only elite female athletic talents in the ring, and she talks about how trying to make people forget about her through the women's revolution, and really, to put everything very succinctly, Mickey James cut a promo on Becky Lynch, and then Becky Lynch cut a promo on Mickey, and then Alexa Bliss jumped in and cut a promo on Becky Lynch. And then Naomi was like, hey guys, remember me? I'm still here. Alexa, I'm going to beat you. And Alexa literally just searched, like, brushed it off her shoulder like it was nothing and said, oh yeah, no, I'm going to beat you on Sunday. No big deal. And then everyone signed, and then we got into a brawl.
Yeah, you know what? I actually had quite a bit of fun with this segment as opposed to the other women's segment we just got done talking about. Mickey and Becky's exchange on the mic, I quite enjoyed. Mickey to me really conveyed like that hostility and that bitterness, and Becky's always been a good promo. In fact, I'd still say in some circles she's probably underrated because she said,
I think Becky Lynch is probably actually the best female promo, not counting heel Sasha Banks,
right.
on the roster.
I would completely agree with you there. I love her line too of, Mickey, you can come at me, with 7 years of bitterness. I'm going to come at you with a lifetime of straight fire because that's what I've always been about. I
Oh,
love
and you know
that.
what? That was actually there was another line where Mickey said about how I've got more experience than all the women in this ring put together. I went and I looked because you know how I am with my fact checking, and she was way off. She doesn't even have more experience than Becky and either one of the other two women combined.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Mickey has been wrestling since 1999, and I'm even including her time away from WWE, where it was in TNA and just kind of working the indies. Um, or Mickey has been wrestling since 1999, so that's 18 years. Meanwhile, Becky Lynch has been wrestling 12 years, and that's me doing Mickey James a favor and not counting Becky's 3-year hiatus in between '08 and 2011 from wrestling, where she was trying to kind of find herself. Even then, though, that's still 12 years, '02 to '08 and 11 to 17. Naomi, 8 years, and right there immediately, we're up to 20 combined years, and we're over Mickey James. So she's wrong. And then add in Alexa Bliss's 4 years to 18 years. I mean, Mickey could make the argument that she's close, but if if you just combine Mickey and Alexa's time versus Becky and Naomi, it's actually really similar. It's 22 years versus 20 years. So Mickey is fighting a losing battle here with this argument.
You know what, though? All the better. I mean, she's a heel. Heels haven't always been known to be honest. So, in that way, like you doing all that, I think that actually makes Mickey, even inadvertently, look like a better heel because she's committing hyperbole just to make herself look good.
And you know
Um,
what else she's doing really well as a heel is talking in a really annoying, slow way. And like, I feel like she's stealing from Cobra Moon because she's really dragging out all of her S's.
Maybe she's a Closet Lucha Underground fan, and yeah, she just wanted to borrow that. But yeah, I enjoyed the promo exchange there. Bliss and Naomi. Here's the thing about that: it wasn't bad, because I am a fan of both. But I just felt like I was sold more. Like if I had to pick which match I was looking forward to more based on this one segment, it would definitely be Becky Lynch versus Mickey James. And, Naomi definitely seemed like the weakest of the bunch, but I will say this about her. I'm glad that she kept it simple. She used the very basic babyface device. WrestleMania's coming up, in my hometown, so she used that as well. It's my dream to dance down that WrestleMania ramp as SmackDown Women's Champion. And to Naomi's credit, she was at least able to make her own kind of moment, seeing as how she doesn't have the promo chops compared to the three. And she said, Alexa, be prepared to feel the glow. And then she kicks Alexa in the head, which I thought was a cool visual because it was over like the contract table. And that's when the brawl breaks out. Naomi even like dives over the ropes at one point into a crossbody on both Mickey and Alexa, and Becky and Naomi. They get them back in the ring looking to do more damage, but they scurry out. So that's pretty much the end of the segment. Babyfaces stand tall. So as far as contract signings go, yet another one. I feel like WWE has been really putting them together lately where they haven't been boring me to freaking tears. And this is another one that I can say, yeah, I enjoyed it. And I liked how compact it was. Take care of two feuds at once. So I was cool with that. Good stuff.
Yeah. Uh, so up next, we had our third match of the night, and that was a 12-man tag match. We had the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and the Usos in one corner, Breezango, Heath Slater and Rhino, and American Alpha in the other corner. I mean like trying to fit into the corner, but really just kind of taking up both of the aprons on their side of the ring.
Yeah, this again to hype up Tag Team Turmoil before Sunday. Yet another thing I'm looking forward to. I was hoping for Tag Team Turmoil, and we got it. So that's going to be really fun.
I honestly, I got to tell you, I was really hoping, even though I love Tag Team Turmoil, that's probably my second favorite option here, but my favorite option here would have just been a 6-team Elimination Chamber match, like what happened with that New Day Elimination Chamber match, I think not last year, but in 2015.
Yeah, you know what? I can see where you're coming from, but on the other side of the coin, kind of like you showed me the other side of the coin with the women's segment. I like that this is a gimmick pay-per-view, but it actually shows restraint because it's not only like one elimination chamber match. I feel like this is the only, well, if you don't count the handicap match, but the only like really gimmicked match on this show. Whereas like Raw's Hell in a Cell, what did we get? Like 3 Hell in a Cell? Yeah, 3 Hell in a Cell matches. 3. And on Elimination Chamber, we're only getting one chamber match, so I feel like it doesn't completely tank the prestige of the chamber. Plus, they've been hyping up that it's a new chamber. So again, SmackDown Live does something right. Less is more. So I can sympathize where you're coming
Yeah.
from, but I actually appreciate the restraint when compared to Raw and their gimmick pay-per-views.
Yeah, I mean, even if I did want the tag title chamber match, I think that SmackDown kind of goes by the philosophy less is more, whereas on Raw the philosophy is more. So I can actually really appreciate that SmackDown is kind of toning it down and just having one chamber match, and then just putting on just good matches. Otherwise, like there really isn't a bad match on this card other than the one we've already talked about, Nikki versus Natalia.
Yeah, and what's great about them only having one chamber, like, I'll actually be able to get hyped for it. Because I feel like when there are, like, too many Hell in a Cells, like, it does two things. One, if I'm being honest, it kind of cramps my mood a little bit. Because, they're, like, gimmicky matches and you want to get hyped. And then I'm bound to compare them to each other. Like, which was the worst Cell match, which was the best. And I don't want to do that, man. I want to turn my brain off and have a good fucking time and be like, yeah, it's the chamber. So I'm really cool with SmackDown, like, reining it in, pulling back and just being like, hey, let's stock this chamber. And that's another cool thing about this chamber. So many newbies in their first Elimination Chamber match. Like, SmackDown is just doing it for me right now. So good. But yeah, getting back to the tag match again to hype up Tag Team Turmoil for this Sunday. Yeah, it was your basic put all these teams together kind of match. It was predicated on tension and miscommunication on both sides because it's like, who's going to walk out Sunday? And the only really unique note I have here, the crowd was really into Rhino tonight. I mean,
Yeah,
that was surprising. What did you think?
that was weird because like I was like, wait, is Rhino from like Washington State or no? He's from Detroit, Michigan. So like, I have no idea why the crowd was so into Rhino tonight, but they, I doubt they expected that to be the case, but they still managed to work it into the finish, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean they got all of Rhino. They got a Rhino hot tag, they got a Rhino gore, and most of all, they had Rhino eating the pin because after he gores Connor, I should say, Victor comes off the top rope with a kick, knocking Rhino out, and Victor pins Rhino. So the Ascension get the winning pin for the heel team. Oh my God, that was
And they pinned the
beautiful.
most over guy on the face team too. Like, how great is that?
Yeah, beautiful, dude. God, if anybody could do solid rehabilitation of the Ascension, I believe it would be SmackDown Live's writing. I have no delusions that that's going to begin Sunday, with them winning, although I could always change my mind in typical John fashion. But right now, I'm not even touching that. But man, I hope they do sometime soon because I used to love this team and I want to love them again. And seeing them get that pin just put the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, I think we can move on, right?
Absolutely.
Well, the next thing that we found out was actually the most important thing that we found out all night, John. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Tomorrow night on Criminal Minds, David Otunga.
Yeah, yeah, did a guest stint on the show. I won't be watching it. I still want David to return to the ring. Bow tie and then sweater vest and everything. But good for him that he's branching out. I'm sure he'll be just as successful as The Rock and John Cena. I can't even say with a straight face, but you get the idea. Oh man.
I'm actually really disappointed in how badly you're selling this short, brother. I just, my friend, he is he is a legend as far as I'm concerned. And when he gets on a daytime or even no, this isn't even daytime. This is prime time. When he gets on a primetime television show, you celebrate that.
I think, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I've erred here. I mean, let's remember that this is the same David
I
Otunga.
mean, dude, David Otunga is going to help the people in Criminal Minds find an unsub, whatever the hell that means.
I have no idea what that means, but David Otunga is the man with his acting chops that gave Natalia the best segment of her life when he spit coffee on her, and then when she took offense. What? If you ask me, I think it's an improvement. I will never not laugh even remembering that segment. All right, so do you want to get into our main event here?
Nah, yeah, let's do it.
All right, we had John Cena versus Randy Orton. In your words, partner, 5,003, because fuck your even numbers. Um,
Stage 5003. Fight.
Here's the thing, and I was actually, I'm going to take the reins first if you don't mind about this match. I enjoyed it because these guys obviously know how to work a match with each other because they've worked so many times. I did hear John Cena call us about like once or twice, which kind of made me roll my eyes. I know that's a common complaint of his work, but I wasn't going to let it get to me. They did cool stuff. I loved Randy Orton, especially offensively, because not only did he do a full Nelson slam, he did like a top rope DDT, and I remember him doing that in his younger days when he was Intercontinental Champion, how he spiked Van Dam on his head. So that was pretty cool that he did like a top turnbuckle DDT. They had a ref bump and so a dirty finish, but here's the thing, because I know we were complaining about dirty finishes on Raw. One, I think this was the only dirty finish all night. And two, the reason I'm more forgiving of this was because, hell, it's John Cena and Randy Orton. They're already established. I feel like the bigger offense with Raw when they did it, one, they were overprotecting Reigns, which we complained about at length. And two, this was Samoa Joe's main roster debut, like his first main roster match in the main event. That's the time that you put somebody on the map. And I don't think they did that. These guys can have ref bumps and chaos all day. They're still going to be fucking John Cena and Randy Orton. So I think I was far more forgiving of this for those reasons. And plus, I just really had a lot more fun with it, if I'm being honest, because, ref gets taken out when John Cena's like, no, you will get a aid. And, he pulls Orton off the rope. His boots going to the ref's face. So that poor referee. Then Bray Wyatt comes in. He tries beating down Cena. Cena, of course, is battling back those odds, at least momentarily, until he eats his sister Abigail. And then Luke Harper comes into the fray. And, partner, I'm going to leave it to you. What did you think about what Luke Harper did here?
Yeah, dude, I absolutely love that Luke Harper is not only turning face and getting mic time, but he's being associated with John Cena and Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt at the same time, and not as one of Bray Wyatt's underlings, but as his own individual entity. And he's doing really well in this role too. Like when he and Bray had that face off. I mean, first of all, the first thing that he really did was go after Orton and I think he threw him out of the ring. But then it was down to Harper and Wyatt, and freaking Wyatt, like he kind of like you could tell that he felt like he had this whole situation under control and that Harper wouldn't attack him. And Harper looked like he was getting ready to turn around to walk out, and then he spun right back around and hit a discus lariat on Wyatt, and that was awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. Harper is owning this. If I was talking about Strowman on Raw maximizing his minutes, Harper's his equivalent on SmackDown Live. He has taken this and he has just given it everything he's got. And he's come out looking like a freaking star that we all know he's capable of being. I am so freaking jazzed for his match with Orton on Sunday. I think it's going to be great. And, I love that, yes, he's face, but he isn't like a corny face or like really into it. Because I'll give you the best example that can come to my mind, which I know is still horrendous. Like when Del Rio tried turning face, it was cringe and it was awkward and it felt so contrived. This doesn't feel contrived because Harper, while he's laid his hands on Bray, he still sells that connection. He still sells that relationship. And his focus is Randy Orton, which doesn't make him pro John Cena, which I also like. So I feel like they've played this very well. They haven't made Harper corny or contrived or maybe want to roll my eyes. He's still got that presence. He's still got that mystique. He's just doing it under a good guy banner, maybe even a little anti-hero-esque in the future. We'll see. But I'm just really digging the presentation, man. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like this, Luke Harper as a babyface in the main event scene. This is what I really wanted to bring up at this point, or this is really when I was waiting for to bring this up, because I was thinking about talking about it earlier on in the night when Harper cut his promo, but I wanted to wait for now. Possibility that we'll get a Wyatt family triple threat at WrestleMania for the title between Wyatt, Harper, and Orton.
Oh, dude, if they would give Harper that rub.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I would
If you
freak.
think about it, like he's got the like everything Vince McMahon likes. He's tall, he's big, he's scary. Off of the fact that he can talk and he's an amazing wrestler. And like now that he's turned face and he's kind of starting to really do stuff as a good guy and go against Orton and Wyatt, the crowd is really responding to him.
Yes, I'm so happy about that too, dude. That the crowd's been as receptive of Harper as they have been. Here's the thing. SmackDown, the moniker they've been going with since the draft is that they're the land of opportunity. That WrestleMania main event for SmackDown would embody that, to be true. It would really make it stand out as, yeah, anybody can get a chance. Harper in the WWE Championship mix, hell yes. And here's the thing, if he beats Orton at Chamber, like you at least sound somewhat confident that he's going to, I mean, that does kind of become a possibility, doesn't it? So we'll see, man. Wyatt family triple threat for the title. Holy fuck. I didn't even
Well,
think
I
about
mean,
that.
if you think about it, the rumor is already Orton versus Bray,
Yes.
but like at this point, they almost have to put our Harper in there because like they're giving him this main event spot. He's getting like great receptions from the crowd. I don't understand. I mean, obviously it's Vince and he's going to do whatever the hell he wants, but I think it would be foolish to just like randomly stick Harper in like the Intercontinental title multi-man ladder match again. Like that feels like a waste at this point.
I bet you he would even feel like it was a waste again. He has said on multiple occasions, like, I want to win all the titles. I want to do everything. Like, this is a guy that fucking lives for this business, which I'm sure you could say about a lot of people we're talking about Harper right now. If he was to get this spot, holy fuck, like that would be amazing for him. Because I've been in that binary mode of thinking, right? Like, oh, it's just gonna be Orton and it's just gonna be Bray. I didn't even think to factor in Harper, but if he beats Orton, which see, now you've given me more reasons to make this my most anticipated match of the night, because if Harper is able to beat Orton, he has to enter the conversation. Even if, and see, this is what they might do, maybe they'll have Harper face Bray for the WWE Championship on an episode of SmackDown Live, and then Bray beats him there, and then we go back to the binary. But if they would have Harper beat Orton, I would want them to go all the way and just add him to the WrestleMania mix. I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah.
You know? Oh my God, you just got me so jazzed up. He better win now. I'm going to be so salty if he loses. Oh man. But yeah.
But the match itself ends because Harper basically feeds Orton to John Cena for an AA, and the ref recovers in time for the 3 count. So John Cena defeats Randy Orton. Not a big deal because, as I mentioned earlier, Orton's already guaranteed a title shot at Mania, so this does nothing. He's got enough of a legacy that losing to John Cena one time on SmackDown with a bunch of shenanigans like this isn't going to hurt him, doesn't make him look weak. Just at the end of the day, I am so excited for what's going to happen with Luke Harper over the next 6 weeks.
Dude, I'm telling you, your whole analysis of Luke Harper, again, that's still my most anticipated match on the show. And as far as the pay per view itself, I'm going to jump the gun a little bit. My anticipation right now, and it'll probably only grow by Friday, it's at a 9 out of 10. We may be at a full 10 out of
Yeah,
10 for me come
me
Sunday.
too. I think I'm at a 9 out of 10. Do you just not use half points ever?
I don't really like to, if I can help it. I usually just like to really commit, but sometimes I'll do half points. If I feel more. Actually, I feel
Because
like
you
I
were
use.
just, I heard you just say it's at a 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10, but you just completely skipped 9.5.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I feel like, at least if my memory serves, which obviously it probably doesn't given how shit it is, but I feel like I invoke half points more when I'm more down on a show, maybe just out of a sense of generosity. Like, I guess I'm a 6.5 rather than just saying, no, I'm a 6 or lower, maybe like at a 2. But when I'm really hyped for a show, yeah, I like those like 8 or 9 or 10. Like, I get fucking stoked. And
I
Chambers looking
gotcha.
so good, so good.
Yeah, I'm at a
Um,
9. I think this is the first time in a really long time that you and I have the exact same level of anticipation before we do preview predictions. Because normally I'm like a half point to a point lower than you. And I was thinking maybe 8.5, but the prospect of Harper beating Orton and the chamber match and the tag gauntlet match, like everything Yeah, I'm at a 9, my friend. I'm at a 9.
Dude, I just love that everything has a story. Now, that's not to say that every rivalry is nuanced or complex, but every match has a motivation. Even tag team turmoil outside of the tag team titles, it was because American Alpha were sitting on their hands and they openly said, look, we want competition. So they were given everybody. Like, I love that. I love that every match on this card has narrative purpose. And this go home show, to bring it full circle, really drove that home. Yeah, John Cena gets the win, but is he going to survive the chamber? Right now, I have my doubts. We'll see Friday what my final judgment is. But in the meantime, let's keep this ball rolling. Next segment, high spots and low shots. I'm going to make it real simple. My low shot is AJ Styles. Got pinned in the Fatal 4-Way tonight. And again, he just came off of losing his WWE Championship. I don't know, it's been kind of a touch and go thing for AJ, kind of a seesaw battle. We'll see how he does in the chamber. But tonight, he got pinned. And yeah, that's rough. So he's my low shot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough night for AJ. He's definitely not in the best of shape after tonight. But I think it's probably safe to say that the guy who lost to John Cena right before potentially being able to challenge John Cena for the world title had a pretty bad night too. So I'm going to take Randy Orton as my low shot. I think Styles was a great pick, but I'm not going to make my low shot Apollo Crews. I'm not going to make my low shot any of the members of the big tag match. So really, the only other real true loser on the show, even though, like I said, he didn't really lose credibility in this loss, it has to be Orton.
Hey, no arguments here, brother. I totally understand that. Moving right along, my high spot, as if there was anybody else that I would pick in the mood that I'm in, Baron Corbin. Biggest
Yeah.
win of his fucking career, and he does it at AJ Styles' expense. That's what really, to me, makes him a high spot. I probably would have picked him regardless, to be fair, but him pinning AJ in that Fatal 4-Way, that sealed it. I'm like, nobody else. Nobody else. Because
By the way,
he
how
pinned.
old Baron Corbin is?
Wait, say that again?
I said, and by the way, do we know how old Baron Corbin is?
No, how old is he? You know what? 32, 31, 32 were the numbers I was thinking in my head, because I know he wasn't that old. And can I just point something out, too, as a fun little thing, at least in my mind, that kind of makes me smile? Baron Corbin did with one end of days what John Cena, it took him 4 AAs to do at Royal Rumble, and that's pin AJ Styles.
Yep.
I love that. That end of days put his ass down, and that makes the finisher seem even
the
more
end of
legit.
days is literally the WWE's answer to the one-winged angel, like the most protected finisher possible.
I love it, and that's how it should be, because I'm telling you, this guy, if not this calendar year, which I'd be shocked if it wasn't, he's bound to be WWE champion on the SmackDown brand. And honestly, the draft, because I'm guessing that'll probably come up before SummerSlam, possibly, maybe after. Either way, it does kind of scare me, because I would hate to think about Baron Corbin on Raw. I want him to stay on SmackDown and make that his freaking kingdom, man. I want him to just make a throne out of all the bones of people who he showed their end of days to. So yeah, Corbin, easily my high spot. Who's your high spot, man?
My high spot's got to be Luke Harper. I mean, I feel like you took kind of one of the two guys that I had in my mind, and you made it really easy for me to pick the other guy. Luke Harper had a great night tonight. He got to cut a promo. He got to get some, revenge on his former boss slash father slash brother, whatever we want to call the relationship with Bray. He looked great. He got the crowd really excited during the face off with Bray. And really, it's kind of hilarious that like WWE kind of this land of the giants and you expect the hardcore fans like we are to really like cheer for the smaller guys, and yet between the two of us we got a 6'8" guy and a 6'7" guy as two of our favorites on SmackDown and our high spots tonight.
Hey, I don't mind big guys as long as they're great at what they do. And Luke Harper and Baron Corbin are great at what they do. And with Luke Harper, let's not forget the immortal TWitWoW tagline. The guy can do a typical suicide dive.
I swear every single time I see him throw somebody out of the ring and then stare at them from behind the ropes, I'm waiting for him to do it and be like, typical suicide dive from Baron Corbin, John.
You meant Luke Harper there, but either way, I mean...
What did I say?
You said Baron Corbin.
Well, yeah, Luke Harper.
Yes. But regardless, I mean, you're absolutely right. These guys are so good. I love it. I'm
I
so
want to see
happy.
Baron Corbin do a suicide dive now, though.
You know what? He probably could, but then he'd remind you that he played football and he doesn't care about you internet marks.
Yeah.
So, God, I love Corbin so much. I hope he's on Talking Smack tonight. But with that said, we have the return of one of my favorite segments to round this review out. 30-second hot seat. My buns are feeling toasty warm, so whatever question you want to ask me, knowing that Chamber's on the horizon, have at it, my friend. Make my day.
Well, a lot of the time when I do this, I try and be like, oh, who do you think's going to win this match, or who do you think's going to win that match? But all those questions are going to be reserved for preview predictions on Friday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you. We just had Samoa Joe debut on Raw last week, and he had his first Raw match this week. So my question for you is, who do you think the next NXT call-up to debut on SmackDown will be, and when do you think they will make their debut, whoever it may be? 30 seconds starting now, go.
Okay, next SmackDown call up, and when will they debut? You know what? I'm going to say No Way Jose, and I'm going to say the SmackDown after SummerSlam. So I'm going to go a more interesting route there. That's my pick. No Way
Very
Jose, SmackDown
interesting.
after SummerSlam. Yeah.
Okay, well, that only took you about 18 seconds, so that was a nice quick answer. I'm going to say the revival next Tuesday.
Yeah, shit. I should have gone with that because I've been getting those vibes too. And I will say that much, but we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, in the
And
coming days.
also, I feel like you really whiffed on this one because there's going to be at least one or two call-ups on the post-Mania SmackDown.
Oh god, I forgot. Yeah, WrestleMania of course comes before. Yeah, and they do the call. You know what? I can't whiff though because whiffing would be not answering in 30 seconds, and I did in 18. So suck it. But
Well,
with
I mean, your answer is insufficient. I don't know.
well, your face is insufficient, Ashton, yet we all still tolerate it. So tolerate my
Wow,
answer.
you went there.
I
What a what? You know what? I almost said what a scumbag, but then I realized you would have embraced it. So yeah, go for it.
I honestly thought the way you were getting ready, I thought you were gonna be like, what a douche, and then just kind of leave it there. But no,
Douche.
yeah, I thought it was.
Come on,
Oh,
Sandstorm.
dude, I can't tell you how many times I see that. What's the name of that song? Darude Sandstorm, obviously. God. Oh my god, the internet. What a toxic fucking wasteland. But yeah, that said, do you have any concluding remarks?
I don't know how many people here are at all familiar with a YouTuber named Seth Bling, but he made a video a few years back where it was just like this random Minecraft contraption that made a figurative sandstorm, like tossing sand blocks into the air and having them fall down and stuff. And like he set it up so that when it hit him, he went dude, like he was angry at the sand for hitting him, and it was all the sandstorm meme. And I'll never forget that, but it was really ridiculous, so I had to bring it back.
Well, you know what? You did. And not only did you bring it back, but you cashed the check, which is what I'm bringing back. But with that said, do you have any concluding remarks about SmackDown Live tonight?
Guess what? All of our information is still in the description because I'm clutch like that. Suck it.
Well, and you know what? You are clutch like that. That I will give you. I mean, despite the insufficiency of your face, when it comes down to it, totally clutch. So, with that said, guys, this has been SmackDown Live. This has been TWitWoW, the best. There you go. Yeah, doing it with me, huh? As a podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And like my cohort and commentary said, yeah, hi guys. Like my cohort and commentary said, you can see all of our stuff in the description of this video. So all of our social media, our Teespring store, everything is right there for you to look at your leisure. And the only two things I really want to promote here, first and foremost, Q&A. Q&A will be February, I want to say 24th, and I would be right. Yes, February 24th. of this month. You guys know where to submit questions. You can tweet at us. Again, you can find our handles in the description. You can wait till this video processes so you can leave comments. You can comment on this video with your questions. You can hit us up on Facebook. You know, you have a multitude of avenues that you can take. You're permitted up to 3 questions per Q&A, and you can divvy them up any way you like. And as far as content of questions goes, use your imaginations. If we feel like you're going a bit too far there, like maybe Brandon Best outlines this really horrific murder scene. He's like, how would you guys dispose of the body? I'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I already have enough of a rap sheet. I don't need this. And he'd have to come up with another question, probably while we're doing meth together. So just go nuts, guys. Come up with your best questions. We'll be happy to answer them, and hopefully me promoting it like this, we get a bigger turnout of questions, because last month was surprising. We got a nice amount, but not as much as we were anticipating, so let's see what you guys bring this month. And on the other side, guys, tomorrow, we're going to be bringing you that New Japan coverage. Ashton, what's the name of the show again?
New Beginning in Sapporo.
There you go. Guys, as you know, or I'm sure we must have mentioned it, we're really committed to giving a lot of coverage to New Japan this year, getting all nice and worked up and warmed up before G1 Climax. I think it should be 27. God damn, that's insane.
And by the way,
this
John,
summer,
the main event of the show that we're live reacting to is Okada versus Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, they're doing it already, huh? God damn, that God-style pile driver. Yeah, I can't wait for that match versus the Rainmaker. That should be a very interesting IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. And like I said, guys, it's on my birthday, so I'm going to feel extra festive, and I couldn't think of a better way to spend it than with my cohort and commentary, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and my Scum Squad 444 life. It's going to be a fun show. We hope to see you there. And of course, guys, to round out the week, Friday, we've got Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. You can already tell, based on this SmackDown Live review, that is going to be so fucking hyped. I think great conversations are going to, abound in that video, especially as it relates to the Chamber match and Harper and Orton. So be on the lookout for that. And then, of course, Sunday, we watch it all unfold. Elimination Chamber live reactions. And as you guys know, the TWitWoW live chat, the best place on the internet. You're going to want to be there. It's going to be popping. The reactions are going to be flowing, and only one man will emerge WWE champion on the road to WrestleMania. So we hope you join us for all that, guys. It's a stacked week. And until then, tune in and peace out.